death, and you know, the road to success is never a straight line. It never is. It's always a matter of, do you have the ability to just keep coming back and not giving up? That's literally what makes the difference between people, of all the people who could have done it, and the few people who did. So let me see here. Let me pull this back. Let me pull it. I'll pull you guys right here. They're burning churches literally in Louisiana. I know nothing about a burning church in Louisiana. That's kind of scary. Thank you for telling me. I had no idea. Let's see. Do you think blacks buying up Detroit is the best place to build Black Wall Street? Yeah, why not? We got a lot of black people in Detroit. I think black people should be buying as much real estate as possible. I'm a big believer in real estate. Real estate is one of the power keys for building wealth. The three centers of wealth are stocks and bonds, real estate, and entrepreneurship. You should have your children trained on all three by the age of 12. Our program, our business school for children, is at blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. That's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. It's a great program. There are self-study exams, workbooks, flashcards, and you can get a degree. Your child literally can get a degree saying, I learned from a college professor at the age of 9. That's huge for their self-esteem. That will shape how they see the world for the next 50, 80 years. I swear, I kid you not. So let's see here. Hey, Doc, I'm from Plainfield, Illinois. I have my own line of low sodium seasoning. I'm trying to get to you. Oh, well, if you're in Plainfield, that's not far from where I live. I'm going to do an event very, very soon, and I might do it in Plainfield or Joliet. So you should just come to the event and then just bring your product, and I'll promote it. I'll support you. You know, I'll support you. In fact, shout out your URL, shout out your city, your business, and your dream. Every time you come in here, this is a space for intelligent black people. So when you're here, shout out your city, your business, and your dream. Go ahead and do that now. Let's see. Whatever it takes says, Sister Yvette did you wrong. Uh-oh. I hope Yvette wasn't talking about me again. Yvette is the founder of the whole ADOS movement, but we used to work together, and I supported her a lot, and she built a lot of her platform off of my platform. She used to be on my YouTube channel a lot, and sometimes things just don't work out. And I think my general rule with dealing with that, and actually in that Black Keys to Greatness program, I actually talk about that in terms of how you deal with people that, you know, just want to be your enemy or want to try that you feel are trying to undermine you. I have figured out that love always overpowers hate. And the best way to show that you are a strong human being is if you can outlove somebody who is determined to hate you. So my goal when it comes to Yvette or anybody is like, I'm just going to love you. I'm going to support you. Y'all see me yelling ADOS all day. I'm going to support the movement. But at the same time, my standard is the movement is bigger than all of us. The ADOS movement is not about one person. It's not about me. It's not about her. It's about the whole community. And so my thought is, at the end of the day, if you want to have a debate and we want to fight it out over ideas, let's fight it out. Let's have a debate. I challenge you to a public debate. I think that would be awesome for the community to hear both perspectives. I don't think she would want to debate me because I don't know. I think she probably, it would be tough for her to, I don't think she's a person that, I don't think she likes direct confrontation. You know, some people, you know, sometimes people become digital gangsters, like, so they'll talk crazy about you. But like when she attacked Farrakhan, which I thought was a very bad move for somebody who is running an ADOS movement. You can't do that and attack Farrakhan and then attack Claude Anderson and me and all these other people. I mean, you need allies. You shouldn't be trying to burn bridges. You should be building them. And so, but when she attacked Farrakhan, the brothers from the Nation of Islam wrote, you know, were writing and saying, why is this woman attacking us and using your YouTube channel for that? And so I said, well, you know, she has a right to say what she's going to say. She, you know, women deserve to have a voice in our community. But the thing was, they said, well, we'd like to debate her. And so I said, hey, Yvette, you know, the guys from the Nation of Islam would like to have a public debate with you. And she backed down. So I was kind of like, well, if you're going to go out and throw a rock, you can't throw your rock and hide your hand. If you're going to throw a rock, you need to be ready. Somebody throw a rock back at you. And the brothers of the Nation of Islam are very, very respectful, but they're very, very intelligent and they know their shit. So so I brought a brother in, I forgot his name, but he did a great job of explaining and giving another perspective on the minister. I mean, just killed it. And I think she was mad at me for interviewing him. Like, why are you letting him talk and blah, blah. And I was like, no, because everybody deserves to have a chance to speak. Our platform is bigger than all of us. It's open to those who have opinions from different points of view. You don't have to agree with me, but at the same time, we should all be promoting freedom of thought, not suppressing voices that we disagree with. So anyway, so that's my position on that. I don't talk much about that because I'm not into it. I don't want anything turned into like some sort of personal thing. I think it should be about ideas. I think it should be about the community. If you want to talk to me about ideas, you want to talk to me about the community, that's cool. But if you want to talk to me about how you think I'm a son of a bitch or you whatever it is, I'm not going to get into that because I know, I know how much I helped that person. I know how much money I gave and all this other stuff. So you ain't gonna tell me I'm some demon, man. Get the hell up out of there with that nonsense. Have you ever thought about opening up an organization of 1 million people to help other Black people open up businesses? Well, the Black Business School has 80,000 people in it. So, and you can join for free. If you haven't got started for free, make sure you go to theblackbusinessschool.com and you can at least do the free option. Even if you can't, most of the programs are like literally like $3-4 a day in their college level. Like these people that teach are the types of people that could be teaching at a college. Some of them are not even available, even if you're paying $60,000 a year at a university, at Harvard or Stanford. You can't learn from Dr. Claude Anderson because he does not teach at any white university. So these are the kinds of people that we have teaching. We have experts that have come through from in real estate, investing, all kinds of stuff. So so at least do the free option. It's theblackbusinessschool.com. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button and shout out your city. Steve Williams is from Gilroy. Okay, I see that. Tommy says, hello, my Black family. Salute to Dr. King Boyce. Oh man, I appreciate that. Thank you. When am I coming back to Vegas? I don't know. I got a little business in Vegas. A couple partners out there that I was thinking about working with on some stuff. So maybe at some point. I don't have anything on the agenda. How many outreach programs do you do, and what are they called? We got a lot of stuff. If you want to see some of our programs, theblackbusinessschool.com has a lot of stuff. You can also go, if you want to see some of the digital lectures that I put together, like how to create your own family bank, how to create an excellent business plan, how to the rules of economic self-defense, how to turn your child into a millionaire, which is actually very, very easy to do. If you look at investment models and you invest, if you take the amount of money people spend on a new car, the average car note on a new car is $530 a month. If a person has a new child and if they let's say 20 years ago or 25 years ago, they had a newborn baby and they put the same amount of money into an investment portfolio that it costs to finance a new car now, their child would either be a millionaire or they will be very, very close. They would at least have, $500,000 to $1 million in assets. And this ain't just millionaire status. Normal millionaire status is not nearly as hard to obtain as it is to be a cash money millionaire. Cash money millionaire is somebody that can go get $1 million at the bank. Most millionaires are people that have $1 million in assets. So, like Diddy says, yeah, I'm technically a billionaire, but I don't have $1 billion. In fact, even coming up with 30 million or 50 million will probably be pretty tough for Diddy because he'd have to go sell assets, which is a much different kind of economic transaction. Hey, doctor, do you have any plans on coming to DC or Maryland anytime soon, says April? None in terms of an official capacity, but I do know Dr. Claude Anderson. I've been talking to him and his wife about doing Powernomics, the movie, because I want to really secure his legacy, and I think film is a great way to do that. So we, as you know, we have Boyce Watkins Films, and we make movies, and so that might be one of our next projects. We also have another one that's out called the Black Love Blueprint, which is all about Black love and relationships, and a bunch of experts on maintaining relationships. That's one of our biggest problems as a community and why we're not able to build wealth and build empires, because you can't build empires if you can't work together, and that's why one of the things I told you guys is that I am determined to make sure that I'm not going to fight with any Black people in 2019. I just don't want to, because if I'm fighting with you, I can't be building with you. It's hard for me to build with you and fight with you at the same time. So I'm not interested in fighting with anybody. My thought is, let's get together, let's make a deal, let's figure out how we can make this work. Because the reason, for example, the reason the Democratic Party and the Republican parties are so strong is that you have people in the Democratic Party who can't stand each other. You think Bill and Hillary Clinton really like Barack Obama? Do you really think that the Obamas are buddies with Joe Biden and all these other people? No, but they understand a fundamental reality, which is even if you don't like that son of a bitch, you got to work with them. You got to put your shit to the side, put that personal shit to the side so that you can create and build something, because if you try to do it all by yourself, it won't work. Dr. Boyce, how can I get a loan? Man, I ain't loaning you no money. I ain't loaning nobody no money. Do you know how many relatives I done loan money to who ain't paid me back? It's ridiculous. It really made me angry. Why did I loan money to people and then have them not pay me back? Well, it's because I broke one of my rules that I've always actually talked about. Sometimes you don't practice what you preach, and that's one case where I didn't do that. One of the things I really fundamentally believe is that if you have a relative or a friend who's always got financial problems, it ain't just because they're having bad luck. They most of the time, if they're not an insightful enough person, they're going to make you believe that is bad luck. Oh, I'm having a tough time. Oh, they didn't pay me on time. Or oh, it's Pookie and them's fault because he didn't deliver the peanut butter on time, right? But really, when you really look at it for real, deep down, you'll find that the individual typically has economic problems because they have a set of habits that are not healthy for them economically, and they keep putting themselves in the same situation. Please hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Very, very important. How often do you come to Dayton, Ohio? Not very often. No plans in the immediate future. I actually slowed down my travel a little bit because I'm trying to do my, be a good partner in my relationship, which means not traveling as much. We do have the All Black National Convention coming up in September. The reason I haven't talked about it much yet, it's going to happen, but the reason I haven't talked about it yet is because we actually had to switch our venue kind of at the last minute. But the minute I make the announcement, be prepared. The convention is a great place to network. It's a great place to be around like-minded Black people. Anybody who's ever been at the convention, feel free to say something about it because because I want other people to know how great it is. It's really amazing. Should I be on YouTube? I think so. I think YouTube's it's like a TV station if you know how to work it right. Do you think a Black man is betraying the Black community if he chooses to marry outside his race? Not necessarily. But if you're a Black man who just consistently rejects all Black women because you're looking for Becky, you're dying to have a little Becky on your arm, I have a hard time respecting that. But if you end up and you just meet a great woman and she happens to be white, I don't hold that against you. But I will say this: I've met great women who are white, and my thinking is, well, there's probably a woman out there who's Black. Let me go find a great woman who's Black, because if I'm going to build up all this wealth, I don't want to pass it over to her and her family. I want to pass it to a Black woman, because I think that there's no greater gift a man can give to a woman, in my opinion, than marriage, because with marriage, you're giving the rest of your life. You're giving your future to that person. So if I give the rest of my life away to somebody, I want to give it to a Black woman. That's just so if the Black woman I'm with doesn't want to marry me, I'll marry another Black woman. But yeah, I'm a little bit discriminatory in that regard. I'll be friends with white people. I can be cool with them. I met some really nice white folks, and I don't hate white people. I don't have hate in my heart. I don't want to hate anybody. Hatred is a heavy burden to bear. But I won't marry a white person because I want to be Black. I want to have Black. I'm not gonna have any more kids, but if I had kids, I want them to be Black. Do I hate Yvette Carnell? No, I love Yvette Carnell. Any response to Professor Griff? I don't know what to respond to. I don't know what he said. I assume Griff might have an issue with me because there's a lot of competition. Sometimes people get into that alpha male testosterone competition kind of thing. But I don't compete with Griff. I respect Griff. I think he's great. But I did see where he said something about me that was. And do I hate Antonio More? No, I let Antonio use my YouTube channel on many occasions. So no, I don't hate him either. He doesn't like me. I don't know. I don't know what that means. I'm just kind of trying to figure out, like, when I get haters, I'm like, what did I do to you? Did I hurt your feelings? Is there something about what I'm doing? Like, because most beefs, I'm gonna tell you about beef that's funny. This is for the meat eaters in the room, meat eaters who eat beef. The thing about beef that confuses me is that most nigga beefs, that's what I call it. When two Black people are fighting and we're in our 40s fighting like little kids, those are nigga beefs. It's immature, it's stupid, it's unproductive, it doesn't make any sense. Nobody wins. Nobody wins when two powerful people are beefing. When two powerful people are beefing, you get powerful amounts of destruction instead of powerful amounts of collaboration. So instead of 2 + 3 equaling 5, you get 3 - 2 = 1, or you get 2 - 3 = -1. Either way, you're getting a lower level vibration for the Black community, a lower level result for the community than what you could get when you add 2 + 2 or 2 + 3, or when you say 2 × 3 or 2 × 3 to the third power. You can get so much more out of your community when you work together. The thing about beef, about nigga beef, that annoys me is most nigga beef can be resolved with a phone call. Like, if Negroes would just get on the goddamn phone, excuse my French, I'm gonna stop cussing. I promise you, I'm gonna quit. If Negroes would just get on the phone and be like, hey man, I got an issue with you. And hey man, I got an issue with you too. Okay, well, and then the next step is, well, how are we gonna resolve this issue? Okay, well, I need you to bring the Skittles to my house and bring some Pepsi with it. Well, Mom, man, I'm not bringing Skittles and Pepsi because I bought the potato chips. Okay, well, how about you bring the potato chips and the Skittles, and I'll bring the Pepsi. All right, man, let's work it out. That's cool. We'll figure. All right, bet. I'll see you at the game. That's how you work it out. And the thing that Black people need the most, more than anything, is conflict resolution skills, because most stuff can be resolved with a conversation. Seriously. Sis, there is not, and I swear to you, I swear, I put this on my grandmama. There is not one person like y'all seen people beefing with me. I don't beef back that much. I don't really get into that because I'm rather beef with white supremacy. I'm beefing with the big opponent, not my own team. I'm not gonna go fight my own teammates. That doesn't make any sense. So I cheer my teammates on, and I feel like I'm strong enough and mature enough to withstand it. Like, oh, you call me a bastard, you call me a fraud, you call me a son of a bitch. Okay, all right, I'll take it. Whatever, it ain't about me. Maybe I am a son of a bitch, right? But the thing is, there's not one person I can think of who's ever beefed with me who could not pick up the phone and talk to me, who could not pick up the phone and say, hey man, you really upset me. We need to figure this out. And then you know what I would do? I would say, okay, I'm sorry, I hurt you. I apologize. That's what it is. Most of the time when people really get pissed off at you and hate you forever, it's really because their feelings are hurt. You did something to hurt their feelings. And the mistake that I've made in life is I've hurt people's feelings and I didn't mean to. I'm very sensitive. I think I'm probably too sensitive, but I look at that and I'll hear somebody talking and they'll be like, Boyce is a motherfucker and he's this and he's that. And let me tell you what he did. And I'll be like, damn, I think her feelings are hurt. She's really sad right now. I wish she would talk to me so we can figure this out, and that's what it is. So I lay that out there. I laid out the gauntlets because sometimes I know people come in and you got people on the internet that like to create beef and like to keep things going and take stuff back and forth like, oh, did you hear what Griff said about you? Did you hear what so-and-so said? Well, people like that, whatever. If you're going to be a little messenger boy, then take this message back to whoever you're representing. Tell them that if they want to talk to me, they can talk to me. I will help them. If I can give you something to help you feel better so you don't feel like you have to tear me down to boost yourself up, I'll do that. I've never had the kind of ego where I didn't want to share my fun. Y'all see me, think about it. Someone asked y'all this question. How many of you have seen me share my YouTube channel with other people? How many of you have seen me generously share my YouTube channel, sometimes with people that came back to try to attack me later? How many of you have seen me do that? Many of you have seen me do that, right? The thing about it is, now I want to ask you this. How many times have you seen anybody with more than 100,000 subscribers share their YouTube channel at all? How often you go to Tariq's YouTube channel? Does he like have 10, 20 people coming through the channel, like giving their points of view? Have you Phil from the Advice Show? These are my boys. These are my friends. So this is not dissing them at all. But I'm saying, have you seen Phil from the Advice Show? With special guests coming in, just using the channel. I'm not talking about guests of his show. I'm talking about people coming in and using it as if it's their own, promoting their products or whatever. What about my boy Willie D, my homeboy Willie D? And this is no diss to any of them at all. But the point of the matter is to say that I've always believed that when you have success, you have an obligation to share your success. And also sharing your success, I believe, is important for your spiritual development. It really helps you operate on a higher vibration because you have to always remember that it's not about you and your ego and about you being the HNIC and you being the most famous person in the world and your voice being the most important voice. It's so literally, like when I look at things like whether it's my stuff or if I look at like the ADOS movement, I come back and I'm like, well, I don't really care who started the ADOS movement. I think that you get credit for that, but just understand, like, it ain't about one person. The ADOS movement is about millions of people who are descendants of slaves trying to get reparations. That is all that matters. That's where I get off the bus. Anything else about, well, I did this and I own that and I control this, I don't do that. That's not beneficial to me. And I think in general, I think that you can actually, it just helps the community win. Now somebody says Phil does. I don't see Phil sharing. I know I talked to Phil about doing a trade once about, I said, hey man, why don't you let me, you use my channel, I'll use yours, and we just kind of share each other's spaces. And they were like, no, so I don't know, maybe it's me though. Maybe it's because I'm so radical, so who knows. But anyway, let me see. But Phil is a good dude. I agree with you. There's the sharing channels in the popular car culture, Dr. Boyce. Popular car culture, is that some white people stuff? I don't know what popular car culture is. You have shared many input on quality brothers and sisters. Yeah. I mean, I'm proud of that. I love it. I love seeing people take off and do well and stuff like that. You know how I just wonder sometimes why people like gossip so much. What does that say about the individual? Well, I think gossip, one thing about gossip for sure is that it does speak to kind of a person being smaller minded. Like there is a saying that says great minds think about ideas Average minds think about events, and small minds think about people. So if you're always in that gossip mill, always talking about somebody else, it does, speak to the question is like, what are you accomplishing while you're gossiping? When you're talking about somebody, how are you getting anything done? So that's why I'm not real big on, I mean, I'll talk about something like, for example, today I was talking about Future and what's his face, Nipsey Hussle, but there's always a bigger point. I always extrapolate. That's what they call it. Like I always take the small point and say this is a microcosm of the larger point, right? So there's always a larger point. If there's no larger point, then I won't talk about it. Like for example, what would be interesting that, I could talk about Wendy Williams and her husband Kevin Hunter. I met Kevin Hunter. I met Wendy several times. I was on Wendy's show several times. So and that would be an interesting conversation. I could talk about love and relationships and all that, but truth is, there's not really a bigger point that I think we can benefit from. So that's why I don't really talk about it. Let me see here. Let's see. And feel free to ask any questions. Do you have any advice for Black-owned social service agencies? Well, learn from the people who know how to do what you're trying to do. I don't run a social service agency. I know that they depend on, I think their business models are a little bit tough because you're relying on government funding. I think that makes things kind of tough. Chris Williams, I appreciate Dr. Boyce Terita. She and Yvette Cornell when she's with Antonio, but not by herself. I see what you're doing that the others listed aren't. Together, you could not be ignored. Yeah, I agree. Every single person you just mentioned, I'd love to work with them. I have worked with all of them actually. And so I think, and I'd love to work with them more. Doc Leslie says, Doc, do you invest in options? Yes, I do. I invest extensively in stock options. And this in the last, I kid you not, last couple of years, I mean, I feel sorry for people that haven't invested in the stock market in the last 20 years. I'm just telling you, that's where money is. If you are a stock market investor, say something. Just say, yes, I am. I am an investor. Just please say that. Because I want people who are not investing to really hear from people that are, because there's just a lot of money being created. I mean, I don't really talk about my pockets because it makes people jealous, but I will say, it's weird. Like when you get a decent amount of money invested and you're literally like, look at how much money I made today and I didn't even go to work. Whew, that is a mind trip, like a mug, and the thing is, though, it takes patience. Like you got to get started, with very little, just start very little. I see a lot of investors in the house. I respect you. And those who are not started, just jump in there and get started. I have a little book on, again, you can learn it from a lot of people, but if you want to learn it in my style, I do have a little book on Amazon called I think the title is the $5 a day investment plan. And what I did was I took a lecture, I had it transcribed into a book. It's a very short book, and it breaks down the $5 a day plan that I've mentioned to the Black community on how people can actually build hundreds of thousands of dollars in wealth in a generation by doing $5 a day. I pick $5 a day because almost everybody can afford $5 a day. There's very few people I know who can't afford $5 a day. That's less than a McDonald's value meal. And almost everybody can go to McDonald's. Lord knows we go there quite a bit. And so with that model, what I did was I showed mathematically just how amazing amount of money can be accumulated if you are patient and you do it over, say, a 30-year period. Like any of y'all guys that have kids or are gonna have kids, I really want you all to think about those kids and make a 30-year plan on how you're going to turn your child into a millionaire or get them very close. And you could probably do that with less money than it would take to pay your car note, at least based on history. I mean, we don't know what the future holds, but this would have worked like a charm in any other period in American history. Do you still work with Zaza Ali? No, Zaza and I don't work together anymore. I know Zaza took a tough hit. I had a real tough situation with the business. I didn't know anything about it in terms of, I do know that she mentioned to me about doing a retreat, and we just never followed through with it. It was unfortunate. I didn't like to see the way it went down, because the only thing I can really say, I can only talk about my dealings with a person. And I can say that when Zaza has done business with me, she's done it in an honorable way. But that does not mean that she did not get into a tough situation or possibly make a mistake. What I will say is that, hopefully I assume and I hope that she learned from the mistake. And I hope the community still has room for her. I just don't like the idea of destroying people for life because of something they did wrong. I just think I'm tired of living in a world where Black people can't get second chances. But at the same time, people do have a right to respond the way they want to respond, and there is an accountability issue there. So it is what it is. Need more info on real estate investors. We do have a real estate program. If you go to theblackrealestatprogram.com, we've got one of the Black Business School. Also, Andre C. Hatchett has theblackrealestateschool.com. So feel free to go check that out. I really need to learn, Dr. King Boyce, learn stocks. And of course, I love your books, but I know it's going to take time to make money. Yeah, the stock market investing program is theblackstockmarketprogram.com, theblackstockmarketprogram.com. If somebody could type that in, I appreciate it. You'll like that. I think it's massively discounted right now. So I think it's like $3 a day or something, and you can get a certificate from the Black Business School when you're done. Dr. B, tell us, why does it seem like such a mystery to know how to invest in the stock market? It's not a mystery. In 1971, in a book called A Random Walk Down Wall Street, a Nobel Prize winner did an experiment where he literally taught monkeys how to invest by throwing darts at a wall. And what he found was that the monkeys could actually make more money than the experts on Wall Street. And there's reasons that applies. I'm not going to explain it. It's a theory called the efficient markets hypothesis. All I can say is just take my word for it. It does work. It does apply. We ran experiments on it ad nauseum in grad school, and it's well received and well respected within the finance profession. And what that basically says is that the biggest mistake you can make as an investor is to not invest at all. If you don't invest at all, then you get none of the benefits. But if you do invest, you don't have to know the right stocks to pick. You just don't. Look up it's Burton Malkiel, Malkiel. Look up Malkiel monkey experiment and just read through it. And the Wall Street Journal wrote a great article about it. It's very good. Dr. Boyce, has anybody ever told you look like Damon Dash? Wow, I didn't know that, but Damon and I are friends, and I'm sure he'll be happy to hear that. He's a good dude. He's a good dude. Let me see here. When does Breaking Brown come on? I don't know. You're not just bald, you're a ski bald. That's funny. Why do people call you Moist Watkins? Usually it takes a moist man to make stupid comments like that about another man. I have complete confidence in my masculinity, so I actually thought the name was funny. Asias, do you honestly see any progress in the Black community as a whole? Collectively, why does America not give those money who want to get out of the country instead of them saying get out? I see progress, but it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. So I would encourage you to just be patient and to just realize that we are just one leg on an infinitely long relay race. So you are one generation, you are one moment in time. If all of Black history is a long line going from here to the other side of the city, you are a dot on that line. So let's get over ourselves and focus on the one important goal. The most important goal is to do as much as we can to benefit the next generation so they can start at a position that is better than the one that we're in right now. Stop right now. Please hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. Also, the podcast is on iTunes if you want to listen on iTunes or SoundCloud. And if you want to get text notifications when we go live, you can text the word Boyce to 31996. Text Boyce to 31996. Stacy Doe, what do you think about Amazon and Netflix stock? They're fine. I own about probably 300 different stocks or something, maybe 200. I don't know. But I do own Amazon and Netflix. I think it's going to be interesting to see how that whole industry reshapes because Netflix is getting a lot of competition. But what I think is going to happen is you're going to just have people subscribing to more services because they'll be like, oh, I got to subscribe to that because I need that show. Oh, that's another $8 a month. Oh, I got to subscribe to that because I need to see that show. So that's another $9 a month. But think about it, $9 a month, really? Come on now. You go to the movies one time, you're going to drop $60 just between the movie tickets and the $5 popcorn. So literally people are, you could have 8 services that all charge you $8 a piece and spend $64 a month on 8 different services. And that's still less than what you would usually spend on one trip to the movies if you take a girl with you. If you go by yourself, you might be able to get below the $64 mark. But if you take a woman, you better bring extra money. So I think Netflix is going to be cool. I think it's going to be like just a big field with all different kinds of players. I think what's interesting is that there's so much good entertainment, we don't have time to consume it all. My God, do you ever feel that way? Where there's so many different shows where you're like, I don't have time to watch all this shit, but you love it, right? So I have my favorite shows. My favorite shows are Game of Thrones, Black Lightning. Black Lightning is the best Black show I've ever seen in my life. Love that damn show, or one of the best. Anyways, it's tremendously good. I hated the fact that Salim Akil got caught in that stupid Me Too situation with that lady cheating on her husband, meeting him to have sex with him, and then she comes back and basically accuses him of things that are completely unprovable. You know, like one of the many times we rendezvoused, he choked me and forced me to give him or whatever. It was written in a way that was slanderous or just scandalous, like just to mess him up, mess up his image, because basically they shame black men when they get caught having sex. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, again, it'd be one thing if it was proven that he did something, like there's evidence that he raped her or so, you know, okay, we can believe that. But you're cheating on your husband with this man. You got your white husband in Hollywood, you know, and you're cheating on him to be with this man, and y'all getting together, rendezvousing over a 10-year period, and you're trying to tell us that one time, 3-4 years ago, some XYZ happened. That bothers me, because while she's making a speculative accusation with no proof, they made a very definitive judgment on him, very definitive action as a result of a speculative accusation. So you're taking speculation and turning it into definition. You're taking something that might not be real, but making it into something that's very real in terms of the consequences. This brother lost that show, and I hate that, because him and his wife have done a great job with Black Lightning. And it's one of the best shows on TV, and I think it's bullshit. I really do. That's just my 2 cents. Darius Hill, should I invest or pay debt off first? It depends on the interest rate. You get rid of your high interest rate stuff first. Let's see. Thank you, Ali G, for the donation. I appreciate that. This money will go right back into spreading intelligent Black media throughout the world. He says, I have kids, nor do I want any. You're saying you don't have kids, nor do I want any. Okay. I'm a fully disabled veteran who lives comfortably. I know that do for self wouldn't work without the government backing. If we could do for self, wouldn't that prove the GOP right? If we could do for self, I think you should get out of the politics of it. I think that do for self has to happen, even if we get reparations, because even with reparations, a do for self mentality, what do for self means, it doesn't mean necessarily that you're going to have as much money as white people. Do for self does not mean that you are going to do everything by yourself all the time. Do for self means that your ultimate goal, by hook or crook, is to eventually obtain at least some degree of self-sufficiency, so that you're not completely dependent upon your oppressor to carry your load for you or to take care of you. That's what do for self kind of means. So do for self can still be done. It must be done, even if we get reparations, because if white people hand us $3 trillion and we still have a consumer mentality, then all we're going to do is give that $3 trillion right back. So then we're going to have to go back and beg for more money, which means we haven't established anything. We haven't progressed. You know, it's like somebody getting a paycheck. Think about this. Who's better off? A guy who gets $1,000 a week, who saves 80% of his money, or a guy who gets $3,000 a week, who spends 100% of his money? Who's better off? It's the guy who saves his money. The guy who saves his money is positioning himself for long-term economic independence, whereas the guy who spends all his money, even if he's making $1 million a week, he's positioning himself for long-term economic slavery. So the do-for-self ideology is one that must be a part of any conversation, whether it's reparations or asking for government backing. Asking for government backing does not mean that you can't believe in do for self, and do for self does not mean that you can't support government backing. That's why I think that it's an unnecessary divide. And I've heard people say it's like, oh, the do for selfers are full of crap, and it's the dumb. I'm gonna say dumb. I get carried away. It doesn't make sense to me when you are rejecting those individuals who will stand side by side with you and demand reparations, but who are also saying, okay, let's have an investor mentality so that when we get these reparations, we build something with it. They give us $1 million, we turn it into 10 million, right? That's what the do for self mentality means. The do for self mentality does not have to exist. It should not exist independent of a battle for reparations or governmental support. Even the biggest sons of bitches on Wall Street claiming that they're self-made millionaires. I did for self. I started with nothing. A lot of those people did it by, with businesses that were getting government contracts. They did it, with government bailouts, right? The government bailed out Wall Street, but a bunch of those people, if you ask them, are you a do-for-selfer or do you depend on the government? They're gonna say, well, I'm a do-for-selfer, right? So the truth is, there are no pure do-for-selfers. There are no pure, like government dependence. It's usually a mixture of the two. Right. So I think we have to have a smart conversation about this and not create unnecessary divides. Black Rampage, thank you for the support. What's the exact reason you don't work with Yvette? That's really for Yvette. I text her, I called her. When Yvette got really upset with me, I texted her and I reached out and I said, Yvette, are you upset with me? Like, what's going on? Like, let's talk. And unfortunately, I think that I think she has an issue with confrontation. I think she doesn't like to get in your face and tell you what she thinks. She'd rather go somewhere else and tell other people what she thinks about you. And I'm not a fan of that. I think, I believe in what the Nation of Islam seems to believe, which says that you go to, if you have a problem with someone who's also Black, you talk to them about it and you work it out. Right. And again, and I know, let's see, somebody says Yvette says you're a fraud. Yeah, well, I mean, if she says I'm a fraud, then she should show that. Right. And then at the same time, because the Black Business School is wide open, free for people to join, excellent customer service team. And what I've done is I've said, okay, if you think that this Black business is a fraud, if you think this Black business is garbage, then try it. Come on in, check it out. It won't cost you a penny. Try it out. Most of the programs have a 30-day free trial. You can come join the Black Business School for nothing to get started. And then you can go to our customer service team, which is pretty much available all the time with, to respond to any issues, any concerns, any problems people have. When you have a business and you're serving 80,000 people, you're going to have all different kinds of outcomes, all different kinds of things. But generally speaking, my view on running a business is that the best you can do is have good intentions for the community. You guys, most of the people that support me, the reason it doesn't bother me when people attack or say negative things is because I have hundreds of thousands of people, over 1 million people a week who hear from me, and they see me doing what I do every damn day. They know I'm not Mr. Fly by Night. They know I'm not Mr. Temporary. I'm not the baby daddy who just shows up on Christmas. I'm not the guy who's in it for a little while and out for a little while. No, I'm always there every single day. Y'all see me all the time, consistently. And that's me deliberately saying, this is who I am. This is who I am. I am not a perfect man, but goddamn, this is the best I can do. And I'm in this battle with you. And as a finance PhD, go look up my PhD, go read my entire dissertation, go look up my dissertation committee. It's a legit, great, straight up PhD. I've done my best to be as transparent as I can with the community. Now, my challenge, though, to those who go out of their way to confront Black businesses, or, on the internet, people love to use the word fraud. Oh, he's a fraud, he's a fraud, he's a fraud. Two things that come to mind. Number one, I'm very proud to say that most of the people who kind of got mad and attacked me are people that have actually received thousands of dollars from me, right? They didn't give me any money. They never gave me a penny, but I helped them out a lot. So sometimes people get mad if you used to give them money and then you just stop. And then they're like, oh, well, I'm gonna start calling you a fraud, because people are gonna believe it, because we're in the Me Too era and you can just accuse somebody of something and people will just believe it just because, right? But the second thing is, it also makes me, I would challenge and say, why are we as Black people so eager and quick to go after small Black businesses that may not be perfect, but are doing their best to serve the community, offering quality products at a fair price? Most of our programs, white people charge you $60,000 a year to go to a university to learn from people with PhDs like me. When I was at Syracuse, the students there, go look up the tuition at Syracuse University. It's almost $60,000 a year. We have presented programs that are like $3, $4 a day. So, why is it that a Black business has to walk on pins and needles when dealing with their own people? Well, a lot of that is because there's so much mistrust out there that it's ridiculous, and Black businesses can't grow because when they see that little flower fighting for sunlight and if somebody's watering that little plant trying to make it grow, there's somebody who's like, look at that little nigga ass flower taking all the goddamn sunlight. That little flower is stealing sunlight, right? But you got big ass sycamore trees right all around you, sucking up all the oxygen in the air. Big corporations, Apple, taking billions from Black people. You got McDonald's taking millions from Black people so they can poison them. You got Coca-Cola selling you acid basically with sugar in it, and taking billions of dollars. And people won't say nothing about that. They don't take on those real targets. They want to find the little Black business where the guy sold them a $20 book and be like, that nigga's robbing people. You robbing, you stealing from your community. You stealing from, and so it's kind of weird. It's almost like with the Nipsey Hussle homicide. There's probably a lot of people out here. Sometimes people need killing. Nipsey was not one of them, right? But you got a lot of people out here that have oppressed the hell out of South Central Los Angeles. You got people out here that are planting drugs and crack in your community. You got cops out here that are beating black people to death on the block they grew up on. You got politicians out here that done sold you out to Mexican drug cartels. You got people out here that are poisoning your water. If you're gonna pull out a gun, not that I advise it, but if you're gonna pull out a gun, Negro, at least shoot the right motherfucker. Seriously, go shoot. I'm not advocating violence. Let me stop. I'm gonna stop. But seriously, do you get my point? Do you get my point? I mean, if you're gonna go shoot somebody, man, like I got a list for you, dog. Like I can tell you where to start, but don't start with your brother who's building the little strip mall in the hood, who's trying to bring some dignity back to a people that has lost their pride. And so one of the things I can say, it just when I think about my own business or whatever, is I know that we make mistakes. Everybody does. You're trying to figure it out. You're trying to build a company with no capital, but you got these people you got to pay, and you're trying to make everything work. And sometimes the shit don't work. And then, but then you got the Negroes right there. I told you that proves that y'all some frauds. Y'all some frauds. And it's just kind of like wow. Like, since when did somebody who is trying to light up people's lives and help people become your number one enemy? When did that person become public enemy number one? It doesn't, like, seriously, even like I'm giving another example. It's a very real example. Umar Johnson. Here's the thing with Umar Johnson. Umar ain't my best buddy. Umar, I texted him several times. Umar does not call me back. I would gladly, if you know Umar, tell him he can call me to this day and I will talk to him. But Umar was building a school and there were issues. There's issues. There's issues, right? And people kind of like, is there really going to be a school? And here's the thing. So people ask me, they say, well, how do you feel about Umar's school? Umar this, Umar that, blah, blah, blah. Boyce, how do you feel about Umar's school? And my response pretty much is like, yeah, I think there's an issue there, but I got bigger fish to fry than Umar Johnson. And I'm not worried. I gave $25 for him to build his school, and I really ain't worried about that $25. As far as I'm concerned, the brother deserves my $25 to add to his budget so he can continue to go around the world and educate black people, even if he's not a perfect human being. Why? Well, because you've got bigger enemies out here than your brother down the street. That's what I'm saying. Shutting down Umar Johnson is not going to change the black condition. However, dealing with the sons of bitches who poison the water in Flint, Michigan, that might make some progress. Or going to major corporations that sell billions of dollars of liquor to black people, well, that might make a change. Or maybe you can go to the music industry that is pumping billions of dollars of psychological dope into the community with this trap music, this bullshit ass music promoting drug addiction to young black children. That might be a better target for you. But the reason that we go after each other is because for two things. One, familiarity breeds contempt. I'm more likely to hate you if you're right there next to me, right? And then two, we're really scared of the bigger target. It's our low self-esteem that generates the crabs in a barrel mentality. So why would I go? It's like the man who beats his wife. Why he's really mad at his boss because his boss treated him like a bitch all day, right? So he's mad about that, but he's scared of his boss. But he ain't scared of his wife. So his wife comes up and tries to love him, and maybe she didn't cook the chicken right, and he punches her in the face, says, bitch, you always fucking up the chicken, right? So you really act like you really mad. And people are like, why are you mad? Because she always fucking up the chicken. This dumb bitch, I'm gonna hit her in the face again because she fucked up the chicken, right? And people are like, why are you mad? You're like, I'm mad because of the chicken. But really, you ain't mad because of the chicken. Because there ain't nothing that this woman who loves you can really do that's gonna make you feel nearly as bad as your actual target, which should be the people on your job that are treating you like a nigger. But because you're scared of them, you go after your little wife who's loving you to the best of her ability. But because she's not perfect, because she can't cook the chicken just the way you want, you say, that's why I hate that nigga to death. That's why I can't stand her ass, right? And that's what we do to black people. I think with black businesses, I think that there is a process. We are in a stage where a lot of people are first generation business owners. I encourage you to have patience. I encourage you to not go to businesses if they don't serve you well. Go find another Black business. But also be very careful about a mentality where you allow an individual to feel like my job is to destroy, destroy, destroy. If they're doing a lot of destruction, then you need to ask them, like, what have you built? You know, okay, you're destroying that Black business that employs 8 Black people. How many people are you employing? If the answer is 0, then you've got to replace it with something equally good. You don't tear down a building and leave a barren wasteland. You should only tear down a building if you can build a better building. If you can't build a better building, then you need to go to the person who built the original building and say, here are some suggestions on how you can build this building better, because I want to help you build the best building possible, right? So if anybody ever, I want all of y'all, if you want to go test out like what we're doing in the Black Business School, what we're doing with anything else we're doing with Boyce Watkins films and all that stuff. If you want to test it out and give us feedback on how we can build a better building, we are open for that all day. But if you're coming to just destroy, seek and destroy, and not put anything in its place, then I mean that really, unfortunately, you're kind of doing the work of white supremacy, and it makes people question, like, what is the end goal here? What is the end objective? So anyway, I gotta go, guys. I gotta meet my students right now, but I love you guys. Please hit the thumbs up button before you go. Please also hit the share button, subscribe button, all that stuff. Also, if you want to get a text alert when I go live, just text the word Boyce to 31996. That's 31996. And let me see here. Dr. Boyce Watkins needs to hold a telethon on YouTube so we watch donations rise into the billions. I don't think I can get billions or even millions or even thousands, but it is nice when you guys support. So thank you, Michael Johnson, for your donation. I'll answer Michael's question, then I'm gonna bounce out of here. Where can I find a Black Wealth investment business board game for kids? Man, I don't know. You know, I'm gonna text my assistant about that right now, because we actually want to find one that somebody else has created and actually resell it. Just make a wholesale agreement. We don't want to create the game. So that's a great point. Now we do have flashcards for children and workbooks for children that are financial. If you want to take a look at that, you can actually go to if you go to blackfinancialintelligence.com. That's blackfinancialintelligence.com. You can actually check out our flashcards, our board games, etc. And I really got to go because I'm actually 3 minutes late for this meeting. So it was good talking to you guys, and thanks for letting me keep it real. I'll talk to you soon. Be good. Peace.